realistically, I just want to say that, at the end of the day, this alabaster on alabaster crime, it just needs to stop. Can't stop, won't stop. White on white crime because they get down. They get down. White on white, they hate us. They stay fresh to mess, smoke the best of the can't stop, won't stop. White on white crime because they get down. They get down. White on white, they love us. They stay fresh to mess, smoke the best of the.
So what I wanted to do was put together these clips all in one, and I wanted to showcase the fact that you have a model minority, the same exact person that a lot of people have stated, hey, they don't do anything, they are completely, innocent. Everybody else, especially the Black community, likes to specifically, target and go after AA, PI individuals in America for whatever reason. And, it just makes, no sense at all. But here in this video, here in this clip, you're going to see a Asian American male who is very smart, right? He works for NASA. He's an engineer at NASA. And what this guy decided to do with what it is that he has is diabolical. But oddly enough, it's not something that's getting streamed 24/7 or, for 72 hours on social media, oddly enough. But if people happen to remember the pandemic, people made sure to 24/7, 48 hours, 72 hours, like clockwork, they made sure to show you all types of video and footage of supposed Black Americans who were going specifically after Asian Americans for completely no reason at all.
Women that he had been on a few dates with.
Our prosecutors believe 37-year-old Eric Sim has other victims as well. Reporter Micah Hatfield joins us live from downtown with a story you'll only see on 13, Micah.
Eric and Gina, the prosecutor on the case, says Eric Sim would put in his dating profiles on dating apps that he is an aerospace engineer at NASA, something they confirmed in court. They say he's worked there for 9 years. The prosecutor on the case says seeing something like that in someone's dating profile, that they have this reputable job, might cause someone to let their guard down and certainly not imagine that they might end up the victim of a crime. The seemingly charismatic Eric Sim, seen here in a remake of Gangnam Style for NASA Johnson Space Center 11 years ago,
NASA Johnson Style,
shook his head as disturbing allegations of sexual assault made against him were read in probable cause court. Two women told authorities they met Sim on a dating app and had been on several dates with him prior to the assaults in 2021. One saying she believes she was drugged and ended up with an STD from the assault. The other says it was forceful and against her will. Law enforcement executed a search warrant on his home immediately following his arrest on Friday.
There is some reports that there were some threats with regards to releasing videos that he may or may not have had, which is the basis for our search warrant.
Along with the indication that he may have some trinkets or souvenirs, as prosecutor Jana Oswald called them. One woman told authorities that he has a box of items in his home that appear to belong to women.
That brings the total number of accusers up to 6 for 37-year-old Eric Sim.
Our reporter Micah Hatfield, the only reporter in the courtroom today as he went before a judge on those new cases. She joins us now live from downtown with more. Hi, Micah.
Hey, good afternoon. Just like in the first two cases, the prosecutor on this case tells me the women in the 4 new cases have similar accounts of what happened. Eric Sim apparently assaulted these women, according to the victims, on the 3rd date that they had. They met him on a dating app, and it happened at their home. From this viral video
Johnson Style,
to this, a subdued Eric Sim left the criminal courthouse today, now facing 6 counts of assault. On March 1st, Sim, an engineer at NASA, was charged with 2 counts of assault. The women say they met him on dating apps. Court documents say one woman believes she was drugged. The other says he forced himself on her. He appeared with his hired defense attorney, Neil Davis, and posted bond on the new charges. Davis says his client has been compliant with his bond conditions, which require him to be on a 24-hour house arrest and not use any dating app. The 4 new charges filed today.
There's not another intox related offense, but there were ones in which a communication of I don't want to have was made by all the other 4 and in different degrees of force, non-consent.
Today, officials referred to Eric Sim as a, quote, believed serial. It's obvious that those investigating the case do not believe that the number of victims stops at 6. They believe there are others and want to speak to them whether they file a case on their behalf or not.
The nature of these offenses is so personal and so predatory that we felt it was important that we tell the public and ask the public to take a look, a long, hard look at Mr. Sim.
In a month's time, Eric Sim has been hit with 6 assault charges in Harris County, each with a different victim listed. The man who works as a NASA engineer mugshot. The women say they met Sim on various dating apps like Hinge, East Meets West, and OkCupid.
He frequently uses these dating apps to communicate with multiple individuals at the same time, and is portraying himself as somebody who wants a committed relationship.
After a few dates, 5 of the women say he forced himself on them at his home, and the other says she believes she was drugged at his home. Those women are all in the Houston area, and officials believe there are more here, but also because of his travels, they think there might be other victims elsewhere.
There's numerous countries that he has traveled to. Just a few we have is Japan, Canada, the UK, but there's a list, like she said, we don't have in front of us, but there's a long list of international travels.
His hired attorney, Neil Davis, says his client, who's on 24-hour house arrest, maintains his innocence. He believes these women know each other and have, quote, morning after regrets.
And he maintains, even with 6 victims, that he's not guilty.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
What is his explanation? Why would he think so many people would be out to get him and make false accusations?
Well, I don't want to get into details other than to say that these were consensual relations, and the way they ended were perhaps not the most favorable for the complainants, and we have different motives that we're examining.
He says he looks forward to presenting his case to a jury so Sim can get back to his life. I did reach out to NASA again today to find out the status of Sim's employment with them and also ask about a NASA investigator who is apparently looking into what happened. They sent us a statement back saying that they do not comment on ongoing investigations.
We need the black community to realize that that black people are hurting Asians, and they need to speak out in their own community.
Sensational. So we all heard that, right? We heard everything that they basically had to state. It went from a few all the way up to 6, and then they also stated that there may be more women directly out there because he was using these dating apps, and he was using the fact that he is a NASA engineer in order to, quote unquote, bring down the defenses of these women. And he decided to pretty much have his way directly with them. And not only that, it was also stated that he went over to different areas around the world and potentially met up with women. So we could potentially have an international issue with this NASA engineer. And, the reporters, oddly enough, could not get in touch with NASA to see where his job status, potentially would be, because they stated that, hey, we can't actually comment on current litigation that is going on. That's the most wonderful and beautiful excuse. That is a great way to get yourself directly out of the fire. It is such a great way on how to do that. And then on top of that, you had his lawyer that showed up there quite a few times and stated that his client is 100% innocent, and that they are going to prove that he is innocent by way of some of the women who seemingly have a type of familiarity when it comes to them, and stated that, they have morning after regret. I don't know what happened. I don't know what took place. I just know for this NASA engineer, you could say goodbye to that job. And boy, oh boy, the amount of time and years that you spent directly on that education. It looks like you're going to be teaching on OF at this moment. It's like, I don't know how you're going to sit up there and do it. And then on top of that, I'm not sure if anybody was able to see, there was a tall Caucasian guy that was there, and there was a little person right there by him. I'm pretty sure that was his mom. I'm pretty sure that was his mom, and she was hiding directly from the cameras, sitting there supporting her son. I'm pretty sure she believes that all of these women are 100% lying on her son. And she more than likely feels that she knows that they're lying because he's smart, he's educated, he makes a lot of money. And I'm pretty sure she can throw some other things directly in there. But this is not looking good. This is not looking good at all. And then on top of that, they stated that supposedly in his house, he has items from some of these women. Now, how would you get some of these items? Like, what type of freak do you have to be in order to magically keep items of these women? Like, what is wrong with you? Like, what is wrong with you? And then on top of that, not only that, NASA engineer, they also stated that you threatened to release footage. You better hope that they don't find nothing. Matter of fact, scratch that. If they actually got all of your devices, they're probably going to go through all of your search history. And they're probably going to find quite a bit of things that will come up in court, especially when it deals with search history, because the police and everybody else love to embarrass people when it deals with that type of stuff. So don't be too surprised. Don't be too shocked if that just so happens to take place. And more than likely it will, especially when it's a case like this. Ooh, and it's election time too. Oh, they're gonna put the screws to this guy. Let me tell you. I don't know if he happens to know anybody, if he knows any higher ups, if he has links with anybody. But whoever he is praying to, he better pray for a very long time. I don't know what God he believes in, but he might want to pray to everybody to try to get out of this situation at this moment in time, because it is not looking good. You got women basically stating that, hey, came to his house and I felt a little bit woozy. I don't know what happened. Another woman basically said, like, hey, this, strong, average height male, 150 pounds, forced himself on me. Woo! You are cooked. You are cooked. 100% cooked. But the other thing that I noticed is that out of the videos that I was able to give you, you didn't really see a lot of other people reporting and talking directly about this. Like I said before, during the pandemic, around the clock, they made sure to showcase videos of supposed Black Americans committing crimes against Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. I'm like, you have to be serious with this at this moment in time. So you mean to tell me that out of all of the times, like I said, I don't forget. Maybe some other people may forget. Maybe it's a Mandela effect. I don't know. But it's amazing to me, or maybe it might be TikTok rot. I don't know. But during the pandemic, that was what they wanted to show. And out of all the times that I've ever been in the Black community, that was never something that I've ever seen or witnessed. The amount of videos that they wanted to supernaturally just pick up and show, and it just didn't make any type of sense. It really didn't. And we have an abundance of Asians, quite a bit, at least job wise, in various Black communities when it deals with beauty shops and nail salons. Like, you can see them all over a lot of Black cities across the United States. And to magically showcase videos where these things, you make it seem like it's continuously happening, is crazy. Because if that was the case, that would mean that it should be continuously happening at the exact same rampant rate that it was happening during the pandemic for that 2.5 years. It should be still continuing like this, but it's not. Because supernaturally, as soon as a form of reparations was given out, I think it was about like $50 million during 2022 to Asian Americans to help out with their community and infrastructure and different things like that. And along with a few other laws getting passed, it was like the moment in time that those things took place, all of those supposed attacks just stopped. They were almost non-existent. I was like, isn't that amazing? It was like after all of those horrible things taking place, as soon as a little bit of money and some laws got put in place, magically all of that disappeared. If only everything was just so simple and easy. But we all know that that's not the case, right? We know that that's not how the world actually works. But like I said before, if you are, black in America, they're going to make sure to sell every and anything negative because those are the things that sell, while basically using that and also spreading that as a blanket in order to shield and cover other people from the atrocious and horrendous crimes that they are committing to other people. Isn't that interesting? And isn't it interesting how you don't have people in the Asian American community protesting and speaking about this, especially when it deals with the men in their communities that commit these types of crimes like this? Again, I got, tons of videos that showcase these things and many more taking place, when it deals with Asian women. But nobody likes to talk about that, though. Interesting, isn't it? But yet, here we are. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about this video and everything that I listen in the comment description below. And as always, peace, love, and stay tuned for the next video.